Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Ash here. If it's your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. And don't forget to subscribe if you like fragrances or fragrance related content. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 12 tobacco fragrances as well as 2 honorable mentions. Stick around. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to begin with my 2 honorable mentions. I have here Homage Journey Man, as well as Frank Los Angeles number 3. This Frank is a discontinued fragrance. It's really good. I feel like it's very similar to Parfums de Marly Herod, and then Homage Journeyman is more of a spicy tobacco fragrance. It's very spicy, it's not very sweet at all. It's a little bit smoky and really nice, very different from a lot of other tobacco fragrances that you can find. So number 12 on the list is a fragrance I have a lot of trouble saying the name, so I'm just going to show it to you and put it up on the screen. This is from House of Matriarch. So this is a chocolatey tobacco fragrance, a little bit sweet, almost coffee-like, dark chocolatey, and a bit spicy. I want to say a little bit smoky, just a little bit rough around the edges. Not a big fan of this one, to be honest. I mean, it's a really nice fragrance, but it's just not really my style personally. Unfortunately, this one is discontinued, so you cannot find it at House of Matriarch. I mean, they have a lot of really nice fragrances worth checking out. Again, I'm not sponsored or affiliated with any brand. I'm just doing my own thing. This is just purely my own experience from fragrances that I've purchased, and the only things I've ever received for free are a few free samples with orders that I've made in the past. So number 11 on the list. Now, I don't know if you'd consider this a niche fragrance. This is a fragrance released by a clone house or a brand that creates inspirations based off other fragrances that are out there. This is actually supposed to be an original creation, so it's from Alexandria Fragrances and it's called Hafez 1984. And this is a boozy tobacco fragrance that's rather sweet. It's a little bit earthy, it's got some patchouli in it, and vanilla. It's rather sweet and very strong. This one actually gets me some really nice compliments. However, I don't feel like everybody really likes this kind of fragrance. It can be a bit overbearing. It's very, very strong, but definitely worth a try. So number 10 on the list is another sample, and this one I feel like has some similarities to Hafez 1984. However, it's not boozy. It is a sweet tobacco fragrance, and it's a bit more on the youthful side compared to Hafez 1984. This one's just a little bit more youthful, but they're both somewhat mature fragrances, so I'd say that this one would be very suitable for anyone in their early 20s and up. This is from Mancera. It's called Red Tobacco. I really like this one. I would like to purchase it someday. It's a bit of a sweet tobacco, just like most of everything on this list. You do get like a vanillic tone, a little bit spicy fragrance, but it's very smooth and sweet. And I want to say there's like a hint of a berry-like sweetness in this one, but it works very well for men and women. It's a very unisex fragrance that's rather easier to wear compared to a lot of other tobacco fragrances. Now, number 9 on the list is a fragrance that is not dominant in tobacco. It does have tobacco, but it's more dominant in rose. It's a very earthy, spicy, and almondy rose fragrance with a bit of tobacco. This is from Tower Perfumes. It's called Rose de Kandahar. This is an extremely bold and very potent fragrance. It's very, very strong, but it does settle down a bit smoother. It could be a little bit overbearing at first. So this is a rather masculine rose fragrance, but I think women can pull this off relatively easy. A lot of great things I could say about this fragrance, but I'm gonna avoid going into too much detail because I don't want this video to be way too long. So it's definitely one worth checking out. This is an amazing fragrance. Number 8 on the list is a rather well-known tobacco fragrance in the fragrance community. This is a very bold and strong tobacco fragrance, but it's also very smooth and elegant, and it has a note of hay as well as what I get is like a gingerbread note. So this is from Serge Lutens and it's called Cherki. I would say this is This is about halfway between not sweet at all and very, very sweet. So it's moderately sweet, but very, very smoothly done. A very unisex tobacco fragrance. I think some people may perceive this as a little bit more feminine, while others a bit more masculine. To me, I don't really care about all that. I mean, to me, it's not very feminine, but this to me is just a perfect unisex fragrance. And very bold, very inviting, and very elegant. Just a really nice fragrance. This one has gotten me quite a few nice compliments, if that matters to you. Don't really wear fragrances for compliments, but sometimes it's a good thing, right? Number 7 on the list is a very polarizing tobacco fragrance. It's very, very bold, very strong, and to me this is one of the most difficult to wear tobacco fragrances on this list. This is much more on the masculine side compared to a lot of other tobacco fragrances out there. This is from Slumber House and it's called Bach. And you do get a very smooth and sweet tobacco. It's a little bit spicy, a little smoky. It does have some texture to it. It has a little bit of a rough edge to it. There's an apricot-like fruit accord in this fragrance. It does set it apart from other tobacco fragrances. You do get a kind of honey-like sweetness. Number 6 on this list is one of my absolute favorite tobacco fragrances. I actually do think that this is one of the best tobacco fragrances to date. A very great bang for your buck. It's very bold. You get a 100 ml bottle for a relatively decent price. It's a very unisex tobacco. It's very sweet. It's very androgynous. And although I do think it is one of the best created, it's a little further down on this list just because I'm making this list more based on what I would prefer to wear. I really like this fragrance. This fragrance is from Fedon. It's called Tabac Rouge. Yes, it's a very sweet tobacco fragrance. A little bit polarizing. It's very strong. You do get like a cinnamon type of spice in this fragrance. Maybe a little bit of vanilla. And it straight up smells like a cigar room or a very expensive cigar, rather on the sweet side. So number 5 on the list is my last sample. This is very similar to Bach. It is from Slumber House. It's called Kiste. And it does have that apricot-like, peach-like fruity nuance with the tobacco. It is rather sweet, but compared to Bach, I would say this leans a bit more on the unisex or even slightly feminine side. But overall, this is a very luxurious tobacco fragrance that I really, really wish they brought back. It is discontinued, unfortunately. So my number 4 fragrance on this list is another discontinued fragrance. I know you guys might hate me for putting this many discontinued fragrances on this list, but I only have one more after this, I promise. They are very much worth mentioning, and you never know, they may bring them back. So this is from House of Matriarch, another one I have trouble pronouncing the name of, but it's Sacré Tabac Sucre. And what you're basically getting is a fragrance inspired by hookah tobacco. This is a very sweet, sugary sweet, apple fruity tobacco fragrance. A little bit smoky, a little bit spicy. This one works amazing in really cold weather. I really wish they brought this one back. Number 3 on the list. This is a relatively newer acquisition for me. It did also make my top leather fragrances video, pretty high up there actually. This is a leathery tobacco and incense fragrance with a bit of florals and some spices. It is a bit complex. This is from Carner, Barcelona. It's called Sandor 70s. Yes, this fragrance starts off rather strong, a bit bold, a bit polarizing, but in cold weather, even in the fall season, this one will work very, very well. I do advise you to go a little bit easier on the sprays when you're first trying this out. Again, it does sell much smoother. It starts off quite a bit smoky, a little hard to describe, a little bit spicy. It's a bit punchy in the beginning, and then as it settles down, it becomes much smoother. This is a very refined, tobacco-y leather fragrance. It leans a little bit more on the leather The tobacco just kind of accentuates the leather very nicely. The incense adds a bit of a smoky touch without being overly smoky or taking away from the leather accord, but everything is just blended to perfection in this fragrance personally. I do have to thank the channel Fragrance Boss, which I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description box because that's how I heard about this fragrance. Now my number 2 tobacco fragrance on this list is a very well-known, very pricey fragrance in the community, and this is known to be one of the best tobacco fragrances, one of the best boozy fragrances you can find. If that's not enough of a giveaway, you might already know, but this is from Roja Parfums. It's called Enigma or Creation E. Very simple but very elegant bottle design. This is an extremely masculine tobacco fragrance. A lot of people go into depth on this fragrance, so I'm just going to keep it simple for you. You can easily look up those reviews, but what you're getting here is a boozy tobacco fragrance with some florals and spices like a lot of other tobacco fragrances. It's a little bit sweet, but it's also very masculine. It does have a Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper kind of vibe that a lot of people get. Some people don't get it, I guess, but a lot of people do get it. And just overall, it's a very, very luxurious and masculine boozy tobacco fragrance. Now, my number 1 tobacco fragrance. I believe that this is the best tobacco fragrance of all time. Again, that's just my opinion. There are many other tobacco fragrances out there that could be better than this. This fragrance has been released, discontinued multiple times. So yes, it is currently discontinued, but hopefully they bring it back again. It's from Slumber House. It's called Jeke. Now this is a very polarizing tobacco fragrance. It's very smoky and a bit sweet and a little bit aromatic, but it does start off rather strong and punchy when you first apply it. This is delectable. I cannot really do justice on this fragrance within a minute or two. I'm just going to say that it's a bit more on the masculine side. It doesn't smell like burning tobacco. Nothing on this list smells like burning tobacco. However, you might get some smokiness with the tobacco accords, as well as maybe even a bit of ashiness like this one has, at least to my nose. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just what I get. It's a bit smoky, a tiny bit rough. It's just very refined. It's elegant. It's a little bit raw. It's a little sexy too, and quite a bit mysterious and dark. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So that was my tobacco list. And let me know what tobacco fragrances you prefer. Have you tried any of these? Do you have any favorites? Feel free to drop those in the comment box below. If you liked the video, definitely give me one of these. It'll really help out. Take a half a second of your time. And feel free to share this video if you think anyone can benefit from it, or if you know anyone interested in getting into tobacco fragrances. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe. It'll really help the channel to grow, and I appreciate your support. As always, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate you guys' time. To be honest, this is my 3rd time recording this video. Just did not like it the first time. The second time I was really tired, so 3rd time hopefully is a charm. So thanks again, and I'll get back to you guys soon with another video. Take care. God bless.